Hello, hello. Welcome to the Empowered Empath. I'm calling this episode Filling Your Cup, and I'm putting it in quotation marks because what I really want to call this episode is showing up for your cycles because we are cyclical beings. Everything goes in a fucking cycle. And I just want to speak to that, you know, age old saying of filling your cup because I think that sometimes we can think that feeling that we've failed at filling our cup if we're not at the 100% happy meter. And I just want to redefine this in a way that is more helpful for us as cyclical humans on a cyclical planet globe. So okay, I feel like I'm just jumping right in, and I'm just gonna jump right in. Um, First, I want to say welcome and thank you for being here, and thank you for showing interest in your consciousness practice, in your evolution with yourself and with humanity. That sounds really big. I don't mean for it to be like this big thing, but I just love you. I love people who choose to um become more self-aware. I mean, honestly, I just think that we are the coolest people on the fucking planet. I'm totally not kidding. The people that I choose to be around are people that enjoy discovering more of themselves and then bringing and regurgitating that wisdom and that love back into their pool. I, I just personally, right? So I used to think that everybody was like that. And I think on some level we are for sure. I do think that we are all collectively evolving. Um, but those of us who are conscious about it, who are consciously practicing um, waking up to self-deceit, that's a really big one. Even in what the topic is today, filling your cup. Like self-deceit comes into play with that whole filling your cup thing. Like a lot. Do you ever notice that? Where we're like let's say an example is you have a sense because you're an empath, you're a sensitive human, you're someone who's already energetically sensitive. You have a sense, and it's like a fucking whisper to not work on that extra email, or don't bake that extra tin of muffins for your kids, or I don't know, whatever, right? I'm trying to give examples. You don't need an example. We've all done it 1,000 million times. When you do, when there's a nuance, an energetic nuance that says, hey, don't do this, our energy actually really wants to go sit on the couch, or our energy really wants to go do a sound bath. P.S. I've just gotten an app, a sound bath app. Message me if you want me to send you the link. I'm totally obsessed. It is my new thing. I fucking love it. And I just discovered sound baths like a year and a half ago. And I was like, how have I not known about this? What? You guys, it's like a sober psychedelic trip. And it's like a healing. It's so fucking good. Okay, anyway. So your energetic sensitivity goes, hey, it's time for us to go to bed. And you ignore it and you stay up another hour. That's self-deceit. That is you talking yourself, like you lying to yourself. Part of yourself said, hey, I need this. And another part of yourself convinced you to ignore that part. So I don't know. Maybe that would not fall under the guise of self deceit. Maybe that falls under the guise of oppression. It's self-oppression. Hmm. All right. I didn't really want to unpack all of this today, but it's a really wonderful conversation. And it's very, very needed. So maybe we'll do that another time. But what I'm talking about today, let's get back on track, Jess, is filling your cup, aka showing up for your cycles. Now, number one, um, I actually wrote out numbers and now I can't read my writing. Showing up for showing up for the energetic parts of you who need you first. So that could be when you are by yourself and you are sensing, like, here's the thing, energy, your energy never lies to you. It's the fucking mind that tries to interpret your energy. And here's the fucking thing about the mind is doused in old programming and old stories. And your mind will try to rationalize something, which is why when your mind tries to rationalize something and then you go with that option and it doesn't feel good, guess what? It's because you should have listened to your energy. Your energy speaks in, well, energy. It speaks in feeling. It's like, I feel like I want to choose this movie. And somebody goes, why? And then your brain is like, okay, well, I'll come up with all these different answers. You don't need an answer. You don't need why. My husband actually says, it's like this joke. He's always been like this, but he said to me one time, like a few months ago, he's like, I don't even know what the conversation was, but he's like, you know how I feel about reasons. I don't like them. I feel like he's like the old school, like follow your energy type guy. He just doesn't like talk about it as much as I do. Um, so filling your cup means showing up for the energetic parts of you who need you first without rationalizing. And let me give you a tip. When you start feeling guilty for showing up for parts of yourself who need you and are communicating that to you through your energy, and you start feeling guilty, that is a huge sign that you are trying to your old programs are trying to rationalize you away from taking care of yourself, away from filling your cup, away from showing up for your natural cycle in that moment. Your natural cycle in that moment of your life is going to look different than your neighbors because your neighbors live in their own life. So don't compare what you're going through right now with somebody else. Show up for your energetic experience right now. Okay. Here's the thing. Number 2 is when we don't do this, what we're actually doing is we are flying our vehicle out of integrity. So picture a plane. Picture a plane that is in full integrity and it's launching off of the ground and it's flying. It's in full integrity. It's all intact. Everything, all the different things are operating. The little spinny things, what is that called? Propellers. The propellers are operating correctly. The gas is operating correctly. The little buttons on the dashboard, obviously I've never flown a plane before, are operating correctly. The pilot is there and, he's grounded, he's focused, he's alert, he's aware, he's relaxed. All these things are operating correctly in integrity. Okay. I feel pretty good about watching that plane take off into the night sky. Okay. Now picture a plane and it's out of integrity. For some reason, that the gas is not working properly. For some reason, that one of the propellers is not spinning correctly. Maybe it needs some more grease. Maybe it's too loose. Now imagine that plane launching off into the night sky. How do you feel? Filled with anxiety, right? Okay. Your body is that plane. Now, when your body is telling you you are in anxiety, instead of shaming yourself for feeling anxiety, or instead of trying to push away that signal, I want you to practice something. I want you to listen to it. The way that we listen to that signal is by feeling it. And the way you feel it is by softening your body. And there's actually, I'm saying the way, there's fucking infinite ways. I'll give you a couple suggestions that you can try out. My absolute favorite way, um, I actually took a course. Somebody teaches this way in depth. He's amazing. His name's Philip Attar. He developed a method called the somatic heart method. Wait, am I saying that right? Somatic heart method. Anyway, his name's Philip Attar. He's fabulous. If you want to look him up, he has a free 12-minute meditation, somatic meditation, on his Instagram, if he still, or his website, if he still offers that. But here's the thing. When you are feeling into your feelings, I understand that when you're feeling into a challenging feeling, it can feel really scary and ungrounded, and like you don't know which way is up, which way is down. Here's the trick. I don't like saying trick. Here's my fucking favorite tool is you feel, put your attention on your heart space. Your heart space is the driver of the plane. That is your grounding cord. Put your attention on your heart space. And then from that anchor point, start releasing your muscles. Start releasing into the space between space. Allow your system to receive the communication of maybe it's anxiety. Now, what's funny is when I'm coaching people, I will teach about how thoughts create emotions, which drive our actions, which then create our life, right? Our actions are what create our life. And obviously we live in a physical world, right, where there's co-creation, but we are the artist of our life. How do we paint our life? With our with the actions that we choose to take. Now, when you're experiencing anxiety, like this is like a really big topic, and I don't want to, I know that anxiety can be felt in a lot of different degrees, and there's so many nuances to this particular experience. But one of the nuances of this particular experience of anxiety is, okay, so we feel anxious when we are thinking into the future and we are afraid of something in the future, right? That creates anxiety. When our thoughts are in a nightmare of the future and it's something that hasn't happened. So it is actually a dream, right? And that dream is creating anxiety in our present moment. And then we go forth creating in the present moment from this anxiety. So I want you to practice thinking of anxiety as simply an alarm signal that is telling you that your mind is out of integrity with where you are going. Don't shame it. Don't try to push it away. Don't try to shut it up. Use it. Use it to bring yourself back into alignment, back into integrity. You start feeling anxiety, you go, and then you just check in with yourself and be like, wait, what am I thinking about what's going to happen? Oh, fuck, I'm thinking it's going to turn out completely horrible and that my life is going to be horrible. Okay. And then, boom, wake up in that moment. Realize you actually don't have to think that thought. You don't have to think about the future in that way. Now, this can take some coaching. This can take some therapy. This can take some massage therapy. This can take more than a moment, right? And the paradox is it doesn't have to. So if you can listen to this and then just, and then go practice, using those alarm bells as signals of your thinking and then switching your thinking, you I mean I know, um it changes lives. It changes the whole direction of your life. Obviously reach out if you would like help on this. Okay. So just to kind of close that up, like, what I think is so cool is to just start being really grateful for anxiety, really grateful for, um like, any emotions on the negative spectrum, because they're showing us where our plane is out of integrity, and they're showing us, hey, yes, I know that you have that dream, but we don't actually want to populate that dream until we get this particular way of thinking ironed out. We don't want to bring this pattern of thinking into that next big dream that you have, because that next big dream that you have that you're really fucking stoked about, and like your heart lights up when you think about it, we it we can't take these patterns with us. You got to work that out now. Like, this is your work. Your work actually isn't the thing in the future. That will take care of itself. Work out this pattern now. Okay? Okay. The next thing is have a conversation with your energy. And I'm going to just call it and say, some of you may have rolled your eyes. Some of you may have thought, that's so corny. Some of you may have thought, oh yeah, whatever, I already do that. But no, I'm going to just ask you to do it again. And I'm going to ask you to do it in a way that you've never done it before. Because I'm sure you've done it. We've all done it. We've all been on this earth for decades by now. However, whatever decade you're in. If you're listening to this podcast that has swearing, you're not a 5-year-old. You've been on this earth for decades. You've had multiple conversations with yourself. Now, I want you to have a conversation with yourself on another level. You can think of it as like a round table discussion, but like, seriously sit down and have a chat with yourself. And come at it from both sides. I want to say something. Since I've started, I work at home when my kids are at school, and I walk around and talk. I've developed this, I guess it's like a habit. I don't know if it's even a habit now. I've developed this conscious experiencing of myself where I walk around my house and I talk to myself, and I am genuinely coming from both sides of the coin. And this has been like one of my, like, what do you call it? Like secret tools or whatever. So much so that now when I'm on a walk with my dog and I need to work something out, I do it on my walk and I'm whispering to myself. And I've just gotten to the point where I'm either just okay with it, or maybe if I'm passing someone and I feel like a little too vulnerable to be doing that, maybe I will just like quiet it down, or maybe I'll just pause for a minute. But actually giving physical, like voice, like sound, physical sound expression to the two sides of the sticky points within yourself is so fucking powerful. And if you think you've done it before, do it again and dial the power up 5 degrees. And if you're feeling a little bit weird, honestly, that means you're onto something. It's like, good. Fucking feel weird for a second. Get yourself outside of your comfort zone for a second. Feel weird and really allow yourself to explore and untangle and be both sides. I like to journal too. Maybe you're someone who likes to journal. I'm not saying don't journal, but if you're like in a sticky spot and like your mind is like kind of going too fast, take a breath and talk it out. It's been like one of my secret codes. And here's the other thing, you guys. Isn't it funny that like I have this in my brain, you probably have this in your brain, a judgment of like, it's like, this is from like fucking 100 years, 200 years ago. I mean, talk about a puritanical judgment. Ugh. It's like, oh yeah, somebody who talks to themselves is weird and crazy. Hmm. So what does that do? That judgment, it prevents someone from exploring their consciousness on a deeper level. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's such bullshit. I'm calling that out. We are dusting that lie off. Um, it reminds me of how like consciousness expanding drugs, like um certain psychedelics, um are like so illegal that if you got caught taking them, you could be punished on like the highest level of government if you live in the United States. But consciousness dulling drugs like alcohol that don't expand your thinking are not only so legal, but they're like hailed as glamorous, and they're hailed as successful CEOs, blah blah blah. You know, all the stories around that. I mean, isn't that fascinating? That's just fascinating. So I'm just going to give that as an example to the talking to yourself. Please go talk to yourself. Make it a consciousness expanding practice. When you sit down and have a chat with yourself, you gain so much insight as to what you actually need. It's you listening to your own energy. It's you giving yourself a voice. And if you're someone who believes in social justice and giving people who have been pushed down a voice, practice doing this with your fucking self. Wow, that came out kind of angry. I honestly think a lot of people don't do this enough. And I think that our world reflects our inner world. So with 8 billion people on the fucking planet, and there's so much oppression. I mean, humans are oppressing other humans. Like, obviously, you and I are not doing that, or at least we're not doing that consciously. But the more conscious we become of where we are doing that within our own selves, the more we can see where we are doing that in our external lives and where other people are doing that too. And that creates waves of change. So it's really fucking important to unoppress ourselves. Okay. So moving on, I want to say, okay, I want to give this example of trusting your cycles. This is part of filling your cup, is trusting your cycle. So, for example, a what is it called? California poppy. A California poppy opens her petals at the sign of sun, and the sun nourishes herself as a plant and all the parts of herself, right? The petals and the pollen and the leaves and the stem and the root system. Just like us, we have so many parts of us. The petal has the mechanism opening to receive the sun, right? Okay. The petals also close at night to protect the flower from frost, to protect the flower from death. So if you find yourself in a cycle where you are withdrawing from life, instead of shaming it, I want you to practice doing the opposite. I want you to practice celebrating it and honoring that as a cycle of life. And don't just close up and then like start, judging that's the whole thing. Don't close up and judge yourself. Close up and be with it lovingly. And ask yourself, what am I learning here? What do I need to be with right now? Why is my energy closing? There is fucking wisdom there. That is, your energy is closing. It is wisdom, and it is asking you to listen. It is asking your conscious mind, your petals, to listen. Because guess what? If you were to force yourself to open right now without downloading the wisdom, that's like going up to a California poppy in the dead of winter which actually I don't even know if I don't know if they grow in winter. I actually don't know when they grow. Anyway, let's just say there's a California poppy and its petals are closed and it's the dead of night and you go up to it and you're like, oh, wait a second. California poppies should be big and open and beautiful and orange. I'm going to get my tweezers. I'm going to pry this puppy open. Um, no, 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 no. That's, that's, that's a human not observing the cycle of the poppy. Just the same as you not, I mean, I'm not trying to point fingers. I'm just saying when we don't observe the cycles of us that are closing because we think, oh, light and love, oh, self development, that means my heart always has to be open and I always have to be happy and joyful and laughing and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Remember, we're cyclical humans. We're not always laughing and joyful and happy. We have to honor the nighttime cycles within us and not in a way that's complaining or dreary, in a way that's truly being in it. So that just brings me to my last piece, which is when you're filling your cup, don't aim for like an 85-degree sunny day when you're having a dead of winter moment. When you're in the dead of winter, be in the dead of winter. If it's snowing, be with the snow. Filling your cup in the dead of winter looks different than filling your cup in July when it's 85 or 95 degrees out. Neither one of those ways is wrong. Showing up to the moment, like for example, I take walks with my dog. I think walking is like one of the most underrated healing activities. Consciously walking, not walking and like spinning the same old story in your head. That's just going to bring you back home in the same fucking spot. But going for a walk, even just for 15 minutes, even just for a walk around the block, you guys, and literally being present with your system and with yourself and breathing energy through, just being present. Nobody has to know all the cool, weird shit you're doing. Just being present with yourself and breathing energy through, noticing the thoughts that come up, alchemizing your emotion. Go back to episode 1 if you want help with processing emotion. Why was I talking about this? Taking a walk. Okay, when I am having like a really heavy, energetically heavy day, and I know that where I'm at, I'm not going to get to like the ecstatic, excited, bubbling, like manic spot that's like super fun to create from. I know I'm not going to get there. So I'm not going to try to get there, but I am going to meet myself where I'm at. I'm going to go take a 15-minute walk. I'm going to breathe the energy through. I'm going to center. I'm going to center on my heart, center on my heart, breathe in my heart. I'm going to be exactly where I'm at right now. And ironically, showing up exactly where I'm at right now is what shifts the needle. What does not shift the needle is putting an expectation on that. Is putting an expectation on me needing to be in like some manic, amazing spot in order for me to have, quote, filled my cup. No. No, no, no. You be with where you're at. You be with the cycle of where you're at. You show up with yourself where you're at. That's how you fill your cup. Ironically, it's not shoving more shit into it. It's literally just showing up as you. You are the one that fills your cup. And do you notice nobody else actually fills your cup? Like, it's so fun like to go out with your best friends and laugh and have a good time. But also remember that you could go and be with those people and not be in the right state of mind to be receiving their love. And you wouldn't be having that joyful laughing time. That it's not them that fills your cup. It's you. It's you that fills your cup each and every time. Even when your brain thinks that you're getting it from somebody else, it's always you, the one who's receiving it. Okay. That's all that wanted to come through today. Thanks for listening. Tell me how you are filling your cup. Oh, that'd be a fun review to leave, actually. If you want to share like some new perspectives on how you want to go practice filling your cup, I would love that. So on the heels of that, I'm offering right now, I don't know how long I'm going to be offering it for, but right now in, October 2023. So any of you who listen to this podcast and find value out of it and leave a review, you are welcome. You are encouraged to go to my website and create a free 30-minute perspective shift session with me. Um, I do, I don't know. I don't even know how to, I explain what I do as intuitive life coaching because there's a lot of different variations to me and where I meet people and the tools that I use. So if you want 30 minutes of a deep perspective shift, and you find value out of this podcast, please review. And yeah, that would be amazing. Um, Also on my website that I'll post in the show notes are currently 2 ways to work together if you want some help. If you want some help shifting your frequency, learning how to fill your cup, or any of the other things that I talk about on this podcast, um, or anything new that you want to bring, I'm always up for um, to explore a new story with you, a new narrative, and help you switch it. So if you just want a single session, um, I do timeline jumping sessions. They're 90 minutes, and it is a way for you to come into a session with one frequency, and you're creating your life from one frequency. And then we go through a series. It's kind of like a hypnosis, sort of a meditation, kind of hybrid energy work experience. And you leave on a new frequency. You have anchored in a new frequency. Now, be warned, this is not for people who are trying to like escape their reality. It is for people who are tired of singing that same energetic song over and over again and just want a little help switching the channel, like switching a frequency on a radio. Okay, so that's just like a single session. And then if you want to do some deeper work in a longer container, I have a 6-week coaching, 6-week coaching journey. I'm going to be developing another one soon, but right now it's called the Empowered Empath Experience. That link to apply to work with me is on my website. Check it out. Just feel it out. It's hard for me to explain just because everybody's journey is really unique, and it's important for me not to box in your journey or give you the 5 steps to success, because honestly, everybody I've worked with have different 5 steps to success. So yeah, I like to meet you where you're at. If you're in a dead of winter night, I'm not trying to force you into a 95-degree July day. And the opposite is true too, right? So anyway, okay, that's all for today, folks. I love you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for your consciousness practice, and thank you for making it fun. It's so important to make this work play. That's how it sticks. There's almost something, I don't know if I could believe in that harder, just from past experience, which I will definitely talk about at some point coming up here on the podcast, hopefully soon. But for now, that's all for now. Thanks for being here. Bye. Mwah.